things, just these little things that I like. All right. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Welcome. So quick announcement to start things off.
Programming note.
What's that?
A programming note.
Programming note, indeed. About a year ago, I stopped updating a feed for a podcast called The Broadcast that I had started with some intrepid ladies talking about feminist issues and the news in general, because it was eating away at my mental health. And
however, it'll always have a place in my heart because it's what brought us together.
Exactly. And like the whole reason that I started Broadcast was because I wanted it to be a motivator for activism. But I found that I was getting so discouraged doing some of the shows that I was doing that the activism was really falling to the wayside. And I decided to end the show and just kind of go out with Karen to do Broad Defense. And then we were talking about it the other day, and I realized that maybe people would be interested in listening to the audio of our calls, and I could put these on iTunes under the Broadcast umbrella, basically. And people could listen to our activism and, get inspired, hopefully, maybe learn something if we describe some of the legislation that we're calling about. So we are going to be going from the name Broad Defense to the name Broadcast. The Broad Defense Facebook page and website, the Facebook page is going to be taken down in a few days. The website now redirects to the Broadcast website. And I will be working on updating that website a little bit further to get some other links and things in place. But there are some of the old episodes of the show if you want to listen to them on there. And I shared Sarah's recent article on DACA on there. And also an old post that we had from the Broad Defense page about so you want to get involved and how to do that. So you can still find those on the broadcast. It's the broadcastpodcast.wordpress.com. So that's what's going on with that. And we're going to be using a lot more of the prompts and scripts from 5 calls, and hopefully are going to be teaming up with them in some capacity. It's in the very beginning stages, but they have seemed receptive to the idea of some kind of partnership.
They're so great.
I'm really excited about that. That's so awesome.
They're a highly supportive bunch of people.
Yeah, I'm like, because Karen just forwarded me the email from yesterday, and it seems like we're tapping into something that they had been kind of thinking about doing anyway, a little bit.
No idea.
The groups. So you may be able to find us on 5 Calls site eventually, which would be pretty cool. So keep your ears to the ground on that. Of course, if that happens, you will not be able to avoid the news because I will be trumpeting it from every social media platform that I am on. But yeah, I just wanted to let you all know that if you aren't able to join us for the videos all the time, go to iTunes and we're going to start posting these on there so that you can listen and get some ideas on what's going on currently and what's the hot button issues of the week or the month.
Yep. So, and if this get you hot enough, maybe you'll pick up the phone.
Get you hot and bothered listening to legislative talk. So that's my announcement for today. I'm pretty excited about it. I feel good about it. Feels like a good plan.
I'm excited. Sarah, what do you think?
I'm very excited.
This is the first Sarah's hearing about it, by the way, everybody.
Sarah knows about getting her soul crushed by learning too much about the world.
Yeah, that's the thing that happens.
On the weekly.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So it was DACA Day. When was it DACA Day?
It was like 2 weeks back, I think.
Yeah. DACA Action Day.
It was August 15th. It was last week.
It was last week? Oh, okay, cool. Feels like longer ago. But yeah.
All right. And so we're going to be calling about the DREAM Act, which is about helping DACA people But what are we talking about? Hey, Sarah, what do you know about DACA?
Ba-dum-ba-dum-ba-ba.
Because you keep hearing the word. What is it?
So DACA is Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals. And it's a type of administrative relief from deportation that expires every 2 years. And so virtually what it does is it gives students the ability to either go to school or have a work permit and be safe from deportation for that time that they have DACA status. But DACA can be revoked at any time for any reason that falls under their reasons. So it's not a permanent, you're not going to get deported for 2 years if you like.
So how do you get DACA status?
So you have to apply for it. And there's currently, I think, 800,000 people, they said.
Nice.
So the guidelines for it is you have to be in the United States before your 16th birthday and have continuously lived here for, I think it's 5 years, or continuously reside in the U.S. since June 15, 2007 until now, and that you are under the age of 31, you're applying for it. And then you've never had lawful immigration status, and that you're in school or have graduated or have some type of certificate for a trade school and you've completed high school. And you can also be an honorably discharged veteran of the Coast Guard or Armed Forces.
Well, that's only fair.
Yeah, one would think that
the military
is off, right?
Yeah.
And then you cannot have ever been convicted of a felony, significant misdemeanor, or 3 or more misdemeanors, and do not otherwise pose a threat as to national security or public safety. And then
you basically have to be a good person who appears to be headed to the path of usefulness.
Pretty much. And so you give them all this information about yourself, where you live, what your life is like, pretty much everything that they would need to legally deport you.
Yeah, that seems scary.
Yeah, and so that's like part of the issue with what's going on right now is that this whole organization happened because people like came out of the shadows and were like, okay, like this isn't right. We need to fight for this. And so everyone who applies for DACA status gives all of the information needed to get them deported, and in hopes of proving that they are, a valuable contributor to the American society so that they can stay. And so
they're risking getting their families deported too. So that you have to have faith the program's going to be fair.
Yeah. And currently, the USCIS policy is that they don't share information for DACA applicants with U.S. Immigration and Customs.
Good policy.
Yeah, that's a policy, but yeah. And then people.
But that's not a law, is it? Like that can change.
No, it's not. And then also people who do have DACA status are considered low priorities for deportation. So, if Trump and everyone is doing what they say they're going to do and deporting the people that are high risk and, the felons and bad people, those aren't the people that would have gotten DACA anyways. So they should just still be protected because they are showing that they are contributing to the American society and are low risk.
But we've seen plenty of dreamers get, that's been in the news.
Yep. Yeah, and so there's a few different bills right now going on about it. One is the DREAM Act, which we'll be calling about today, which was first originally proposed in 2001 and still hasn't been passed. But it's a multi-phase process for undocumented minors who graduated high school that grants them first conditional residency upon meeting qualifications. Then they can apply for permanent residency, which means going to school and getting a job and, being a productive member of society like we always want. And then there's the Bridge Act, which is bar removal of individuals who dream and grow our economy, which is just to codify the protections afforded to DACA. And then the RAC Act, which is Recognizing America's Children, which creates a little bit more of a rigorous process for dreamers to become citizens, but it has a lot of bipartisan support and is like a path to it. And then the HOPE Act is, I think it was proposed by a young protecting, or it was, let me forget who it was proposed by, but it was proposed by like some young immigrants in Arizona. And it's a 3-stage way to citizenship. And then obviously we all know about the RISE Act, which is reforming American immigration for strong employment that Trump introduced, which has a lot of different.
Which is the opposite.
yeah, is including, you know, pretty much a half cut in all of immigration, and, you know, evaluating people on their age, education, English ability, offer, or their job offer, salary, even if they have an Olympic medal, which is interesting. So yeah, those are kind of the bills circulating right now about it.
That's a lot going on, but immigration has always been such a big part of, you know, our national identity, right?
Mm-hmm.
And to hear them, like when they announced the RAISE Act and they were saying, well, you know, the Statue of Liberty was not about what the Statue of Liberty is about. That's just
yeah, that was something.
It infuriates me. So, you know, as I've been thinking about the DREAM Act and that it's only fair that people who came here as kids, who didn't choose to come here, who were brought here, right? We don't want to punish them for what their parents did, because that's what they do in North Korea, right? They punish your kids, and that's just not who we are. That's not how we should be. And so I didn't know this until I left the country, that being born in America, you're American, right? That's birthright citizenship. That's the 14th Amendment. Okay, that seems fine to me. If you're born in America, you're American. But that is unusual. Only a few countries do that. Hardly anyone does that. That is like a special American thing, that we take in people. And that, I didn't know that. That's part of what makes us amazing. And to me, the natural extension of that is, you know, if you were brought here, then that seems almost like you were born here. So yeah, sure, put a couple extra things on it, like you've got to stay out of jail. You know, Sarah, you listed a few of them. Okay, but let's not go too far with that, and let's let these people have in law, so they don't have to take a gamble. Because you can gamble with Obama and then they change the president, and then what have you done, right? Yeah. So that you can't have people in that situation. It's not right. It's not, and it shouldn't be who we are.
Currently, for anybody listening, if you're considering applying for DACA status and you have never applied for it before, people are advising you not to. Just because, again, that is all information that they need to deport you.
Yeah, that does not seem like the wise course of action in this climate at the moment.
Well, and it only lasts for 2 years. You have to renew every 2 years. So if you've already applied and received status, then obviously reapply, because they already have their information.
Right.
It's scary for them to have. But yeah, if you haven't applied yet, a lot of the immigration help centers are advising not to apply.
So I'm like a fourth generation American, and this gets me heated up. Natasha, what's your perspective on this?
Yeah, my father came here illegally from Colombia, and he wound up getting a green card when he married my mom. But because my mother is American, my half brother, who my father had with his first wife, he had to jump through all kinds of hoops to become a citizen. He was born in Colombia also. And he could easily, like, if my father had not remarried, I could have been her daughter and could have had to go through this whole thing myself. And I can't imagine that, because it's just, my half brother, when the first time I ever met him, I think I was about like 7 or 8 years old. And he came to stay with us, and it was baffling to me because he could stay with us for like months and then he had to go. And I didn't understand why he had to go. And he was like such a hard worker. He was going to school. He finally was able to gain citizenship and came back and graduated. And now he's married. He has 3 kids who are all on the honor roll at school. One of them got this like enormous scholarship, and they're like, he is the American dream. Like, you know, like he's working a very stable, steady job, has a lovely house in the suburbs, has 3 great kids, like 2 cats and a dog, the whole thing. And just to imagine that they might have been like, no, we don't really want you. It's like, what? Like I feel like people underestimate how much someone who comes from a background where this was not a possibility for them would value it and work for it, because they never thought they could have it. Like you just don't take it for granted as easily. And that's not to say that that there aren't criminals out there, of course, but it's not like there's a greater percentage of criminals than there are of people who just want a better life for themselves. And
well, all the statistics show that immigrants have a lower crime rate, and the children.
Right, exactly.
Right.
And I get like the other one that I get frustrated by is the birth status, like birth citizenship, because that's something that a lot of people are kind of trying to fight against and get like taken away. And they use this phrase of anchor babies, like people are coming here specifically to have babies just so that they can stay, without really like stopping to think, maybe, I know this is crazy, but maybe they want their kid to grow up in America. Maybe it's not about them. Like maybe that is just, oh shit, I'm pregnant. I want my child to have the best possible opportunities. And I'm going to go somewhere where that is an actual potential outcome for me, and not just like snickering and rubbing their hands together going, I'm going to get pregnant and go to America. Like, I just don't know what people are thinking. It's, it's just, there's this sort of like weird malice that we attribute to, and it's like, it's very simple. Everyone wants to live a stable, healthy, and abundant life. And they're going to go to the places that provide that. It's not hard,
And, we're at historically low unemployment. Like, we need some people up in here who are willing to take some jobs and do some stuff.
Yep. So, yeah. So this could easily be me. It could easily have been my brother if he didn't wind up getting citizenship. And I feel very strongly about this one. So,
all right. I think we're all on the same page.
Yeah.
Let's call some people and tell them some things.
I'm going to put
there is a version of the DREAM Act in the House, and it is in committee. So we would call our congressman for that. There's a version of the DREAM Act in the Senate. So both of them will move along, and if they both pass as is, great. Then they can sign it in its. Otherwise, if one of them gets modified, then you need to reconcile them. In any case, you would call your congressman about one of them, and then one or both of your senators about the other. But either way, you could just call it the DREAM Act, and they'll know what you mean. So who wants to go first, and who are you calling?
Did you want to go first?
Me?
Sarah started talking just as I was about to be like, I can go first. All right. I will go first.
All right.
For those who are watching or will be watching, I linked to the issue on the 5 calls page in the information for this video. So if you want to go and take a look at that. And that is what I'm going to be using for my call.
You're going to groove on the 5 calls script?
I am.
Love it.
And they're having me call because I kind of expected this to be a call to senators. But the number they're giving me is to my state attorney general.
So, that's a whole different thing.
Is it?
Yeah. I mean, it's the same thing, but it's a whole different thing.
Should I make a call to my senator as well?
Yes. Yes. Call your senator. You call your senator.
So let's go to a 5 call.
I'm pretty sure your senator is soft on immigration.
Oh my God. Ted Cruz?
Mm-hmm. Isn't he?
I didn't think so.
Yeah, I'm mistaken then.
I could be wrong, to be honest. I just sort of feel like Ted Cruz is like almost always disagrees with me on everything. So I just assume that he takes the opposite stance as me on most things. But all right, let's do this.
He's the son of a Cuban immigrant and celebrates legal immigration. Well, tell him what you think. Maybe you can change his mind.
Yeah, hopefully. Let's see. I expect to get voicemail.
I think you have an opening.
Hi, this is Ted Cruz. Thank you for calling my Washington, D.C.
Does he even have people who work there?
It's an honor and privilege to serve the great state of Texas as your United States Senator. And I look forward to hearing
I wish that I didn't have to sit through this whole thing every time.
To leave a message for me about current issues or legislation, please press 1. For information, thank you so much for your thoughts and concerns about the important issues facing our nation. Please leave me a message and include your name, your city of residence, and your email address. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Natasha Kingston. I live in Denison, Texas, zip code 75020. My email is kingston.natasha@gmail.com. And I am calling about the DACA program and the DREAM Act. I'm calling to express my concern that Texas has joined the legal threat against the DACA program. Dreamers in school, in the workforce, or who are veterans contribute greatly to our society and should be given a path to citizenship, not deported. I personally come from a family of immigrants. My half-brother recently was able to get status here as a citizen and has established a gorgeous and productive family. And I really feel passionately about this, that this is something that is what makes America the country it is, that providing a path to happiness and wealth for people who might not otherwise have the opportunities that we have is what makes us a great country. So I really urge you to please remove yourself from this legal challenge. Thank you. Yay.
You have warmed the cockles of my heart.
Not the cockles. Right to the cockles. All right. I'm going to call two people. So maybe I go and then Sarah go and then I go again.
Okay.
I wanted to call my congresswoman. She co-sponsored the Bridge Act, which Sarah mentioned, which was just making DACA law so that they couldn't get yanked out from under people. So I'm hoping that she will sponsor the DREAM Act as well. Of course, it's not like she hasn't heard of it, I'm sure. I won't be telling her anything she doesn't know. But Ted Cruz's voicemail, it's like he's saying, aren't you cute?
Kind of.
Wanting to tell me things.
Yeah.
Office. This is Michelle. How may I help you?
Hi, Michelle. It is good to talk to you. I am Karen. I was calling about a bill. Is that all right?
Sure. What can I help you with?
I am calling about the DREAM Act, and I've actually written down what I want to say so that I don't sound like a lunatic, because I feel kind of strongly. Do you mind if I just read you a sentence here?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Great. Okay. So I think the 14th Amendment is one of the things that makes America special. And DACA seems to me to be a natural extension of that fundamental idea of birthright citizenship. I think treating children as a special case is fair and moral. I also think a path to citizenship is smart because young immigrants are and always have been a huge asset to our communities and economy. So I know that Congresswoman DeGette sponsored the Bridge Act. I'm hoping that she might also sponsor the DREAM Act, or at least vote for it.
Okay, I do know that she is looking into the DREAM Act at the
Excellent.
moment. So I will pass along your comments and make sure she knows that, okay?
Fantastic. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All right, bye-bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Yay! Woo! That was a lovely speech.
Thank you. And she said that was good. That always feels so good when they're like, okay, yeah, well, we're thinking about it. So, because maybe she ticked a tick somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
I counted a little bit.
The little nudges, exactly.
No Team Us.
Yay!
All right, Sarah, what do you got?
I'm gonna call Corey.
All right. So how do you feel about Mr. Gardner now that he has said some things and had his town halls? Have you warmed at all?
I'm not gonna lie, when I saw his tweet last week after Charlottesville, I had to double check that was the right.
Yeah, I was surprised by that. I actually thought of you, Sarah. I read that and I was like, oh, Sarah's gonna like this one.
But points.
Yep.
Points. It was right.
Yeah,
and it was fair.
Really,
and it was right.
That he renounced white supremacy. That is super brave of him to do. And I'm just really inspired by his act of bravery to renounce white
Well, maybe keep the snark out of it.
No, more snark. Additional snark, please.
By saying something nice, the old compliment sandwich idea.
Oh, yeah. I'll be like, I was so impressed with your tweet last week about Charlottesville.
Well, did you appreciate it? You did. Did you appreciate it?
I favorited it on Twitter. the ones from my woke people that were way better, but I might say it. Okay. I'm calling to applaud you for your stance on Charlottesville.
There we go. Passion in. Start with the nice.
Here we go.
Did you call Denver or DC?
Denver.
Thank you for calling.
Should I leave a message or try DC?
Try DC.
Corey.
And then you can just leave a message in DC if you don't get someone. You might get someone, though. I talked to someone last time.
For those listening and watching, if you need both numbers, you can go to Bill Track 50 to find numbers for both state and federal.
Or you could just use the internet. It's got all this stuff on it.
It's shockingly difficult on the internet to find like the local numbers.
Ashley, how can I help you?
Hi, Ashley. My name is Sarah, and I wanted to share my opinion on a bill.
Okay, yeah, I can take that down and pass it along to the senator for you.
Awesome. Okay, well, first I want to call and applaud him for his stance on Charlottesville. I found that very inspiring and awesome. So I just wanted to relay that message. And then also, I wanted to ask for his support on the DREAM Act. I think it's the fair and moral thing to do to support the DACA program, and it seems a little ridiculous to me that these kids fearing that the only life that they ever have known is going to be ripped away from them, and they might be endangered for trying to gain dreamer status depending on how the political environment evolves. And I think that also having paths to citizenship makes sense. And, you know, we have all these super great young immigrants that want to be a huge assets to our communities and our economy, and especially here in Colorado, but also in the whole entire United States. And Colorado is a state of compassion and tolerance, and I really would love him to vote that way.
Okay, well, I will definitely make sure that the senator gets that message.
Thank you so much.
Of course. Thank you for your call, and I hope you have a good rest of your day.
You too.
Thank you.
Butter him up.
Oh my gosh, if you could kill him with kindness, you just smiled her ear off.
That was delightful. I loved it.
So good.
See, this is why I want to get an actual human being, but I never do.
No.
I never do when I call him.
That's because Ted Cruz is not an actual human being. I think that's
a fair assessment.
I think Cory Gardner has not yet given up his humanity.
Yeah, I mean, we were going to mention actually that the call that we made a couple weeks ago against the trans bathroom bill in Texas wound up being successful. That did not get passed.
Yay!
However, Ted Cruz definitely did help in passing the abortion ban for the state insurance plan
for like Obamacare.
For Obamacare, yeah. And he did this on his, because I follow him on Facebook. He posted this huge post about how we're not supporting this, and also all of this misinformation again about Planned Parenthood selling fetal body parts again, even though that has been debunked like 1,000 times over. And he shared it as if it was just an undisputed fact that had been proven, when in fact the exact opposite is true. So Ted Cruz remains on my shit list, and probably shall forevermore. But you know, this is where I live, so.
Hey, Texas. All right, so I'm going to call our other senator. So I think Sarah just did a good job putting the bug in the ear of our Republican senator. I'm going to call our Democrat, Michael Bennet, who seems like a good guy to me.
Senator Michael Bennet, how can I help you?
Hello. I was calling with my opinion about a bill.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. What do you need to know from me before I spew my opinion at you?
Can I just write down your name and zip code?
All right. I am Karen Suhaka, and my zip code is 80203.
Perfect.
Beautiful. All right, so I wrote down what I wanted to say so I don't mess it up, if that's okay.
Absolutely.
All right, so I think the 14th Amendment. Oh, I'm calling about the DREAM Act, and I hope you'll be supporting that. Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'm going to try to convince you to sponsor it.
Okay.
All right, so I think the 14th Amendment is one of the things that makes America special. And DACA seems like an extension of that fundamental idea of birthright citizenship. So treating children as a special case is fair and moral. And I think it's smart because young immigrants are and always have been a huge asset to our communities and economy. So especially in Colorado, where we should be leading the way in compassion and tolerance, I'm hoping that you would consider even sponsoring the bill.
All right, well, I can definitely pass it along to the senator for you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
All right, have a great day.
And have a good rest of your day.
Okay, you too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yay!
Yay!
Because I didn't have to call Randy Baumgardner.
So he probably thinks I'm right there and doesn't know my day is over. Hence the dark.
Yeah, it looks like you're in black and white, and the rest of us are just in color on this.
I was thinking that earlier. I was like, looking at this game. I was like, is she in black and white? Oh no.
Hey Google, turn on the lights. There we go.
Also, to brighten up everybody's day really quick, I just want everyone to see this.
Is it the eclipse? Is it the eclipse?
Their third week.
Those are so pretty.
They're from Karen.
Aww.
They're the best lady ever. And they're still alive.
Oh, they're
Sarah
beautiful.
moved into a new place, so they were her housewarming flowers.
Oh, nice. That's lovely.
Yeah. And they're still picking. So, pretty impressive.
A lot of people take pot shots at carnations, but I like them because they last forever. And you can see in my background, my carnations from my lovely boyfriend.
Aww.
Which lasts like weeks. They're great.
They're great.
All right. You got nothing?
Except a big bucket of wine. We're making wine.
Hell, wine, flowers. I don't know. I might pick wine.
Right now, it's grape juice and yeast right now, but still,
yummy.
still wine.
All right. Well, I think that wraps us up, right? Are we good?
We are good. We have done our part.
Oh boy. This is
all right.
exciting. I'm very excited about this whole transition that we're making. This is going to be good.
Me too. We'll see what we can learn about next week and call and yell at people some more.
Yeah, definitely. That's my favorite.
Nice to see you guys.
Nice to see you too. Everybody listening and watching, we will see you next week. Bye.
Bye.